What is going on, everybody? It is officially that time. We have all kind of stuff to talk about. I didn't expect day one to be so crazy with just news flying everywhere. Technically, it wasn't day one. The Chargers were practicing this weekend, but a lot of the teams got going today, and there was rumors flying everywhere. There was news coming out right and left. Seemed like every time I grabbed my phone, there was something else going on interesting to think about, or somebody posting something. So I grabbed my boy Hartman. We're going to talk about it. We're going to try to see if we can get a sprint to fill and draft a good team, try to avoid the landmines, try to hit on some of the players that we think might be moving up.
I've got something to say, yeah. I work hard each and every day. I get lost in the words I say. I don't push pause, no, I push play. I won't stop till I make a change. I withdraw on the things I make. I turn flaws into flawless traits. I build tall, never capped in space. I won't stop till I hear him say,
What is going on, Hartman? How you doing tonight, sir?
What's up, JT? Doing pretty good. How about you?
I am doing well, my friend, doing well. If anybody wants to hop in it, there's no need for a countdown. We're going to discuss some stuff, but since the sprint takes a little while to fill sometimes, we're going to go ahead and jump in one. Still need 10 people. We'll see how it goes. We'll talk for 10 minutes or so, and if it's still not filling, I don't know if you have a good Discord you want to plug it in. I need to get better with that. I know Huhaim's tagged it in, I think, the Dog Pounds Discord last night and helped
Yeah,
us get one
that's
filled.
that's always my go-to
That's
one.
always a good one.
Yeah, that's like at least of the ones I'm in, that's always the most like active with like people like hopping and stuff in drafts.
All right. Well, I'm in his thing. Let me go find the current drafting. Tell you what, while I
I'm
posted in here,
putting it
oh,
right
you
now.
already did? Oh,
Yeah.
cool. We'll handle up. Um, we'll start with you. What was your favorite news that came out today, or what was the most interesting thing you saw out there today?
Um, I think the one that interested me the most, and maybe just because I'm really like in on the guy, is the head coach of the Cowboys, Schottenheimer. He was really talking up Pickens and his deep field ability and
Deep
how they're gonna
ball.
move him all around the formation. He turns 50-50s into 70-30s. When he's not doubled, he's open. Very
Hmm.
high praise. So, that was the one most interested me. How about you?
The one that I found actually the most interesting of all was the Chargers, and it was actually, just a little thing Harbaugh said in his press conference. I'm sure you caught it. Not sure if everybody caught it, but he was, being asked, of course, about Najee and the eye and everything. And I forget, I don't have it written down word for word, but he basically answered it like, we're not sure when or if he'll be back for camp, which, there's been kind of a whole bunch of secrecy and stuff going around it as it is and everything. Not only did he go to the hospital, he also then, had to go see specialists and stuff. Doesn't really seem like just some minor burns. Nobody can seem to find this man to take a picture of him so we can see what the actual eye looks like. And then you pair that with Justin Herbert's comments today on a guy that I'm kind of mad at myself, and I'll tell why in a minute. But Hampton, this is what Mr. Herbert said. He's incredibly physical. He too has picked up the offense really well. Just got to find ways to get him the ball and go do what he does. He's everything you want in a running back. So, very, very high praise coming from the quarterback of the team. And I'm a little disappointed in myself. I have a decent amount of him, not probably as much as I should or as much as I want. And looking back on it, I'm kind of mad because, like, my very first thumbnail I ever made when I started streaming, back still streaming on DraftKings, was a picture of Omari and Hampton. It might have been like my second or third thumbnail, and I called him Calfzilla, and said something on the thumbnail like Harbaugh's gonna love Calfzilla or something like that. But so I've been in on him all summer, but it's like I don't know. I didn't get as much as I wanted of him, and now I'm afraid we're gonna have to learn Hampton at the 2-3 turn sooner rather than later, I believe.
Yeah, yeah, I could see that. I also kind of regret not drafting more. I had a good amount like the pre-draft stuff, but post-draft I just kept around field.
Mhm.
Yeah, I'm kind of in the same boat.
I think I might be a little more than that. I'm gonna go look real quick just to see. Maybe I'll surprise myself. I didn't look today. I should have. I've been trying not to because I know if every little bit of news that comes out, if I run and look real quick, then it is going to be on my app all day looking up percentages of players as news come out that's either bullish or bearish. I'm at more than I thought, actually. I'm at 15% Hampton. So we're
Oh
doing
wow.
good. We're doing good. We can still keep drafting him, but maybe not have to go heavy on him as he moves up. My question for the day that I put in the poll, you already know how I am on your boy Bucky.
My boy. I don't what?
Oh, yeah,
I don't
aren't
have
you
a
in
lot of
on
Bucky.
Bucky? Oh,
I have
okay,
like
okay.
I have
My
like
bad,
3
my
I
bad,
have
my
like
bad.
3%. Oh,
Maybe it's somebody
don't
else
do
I'm
that.
thinking
Don't
of.
do that to me.
It's there's some out there though. They definitely keep him in the second round.
Oh
But
yeah.
I mean, like, why are we, especially now with everything we know, why are we not just taking Hampton over Bucky? I mean, even if
Hmm.
okay, Najee's healthy and he comes back, like it's Najee, he's clearly not practicing right now. So like Hampton's gonna win the job, right? And
Yeah.
I heard somebody saying today, I think it may have been on ADP chasing, like we were talking about before we went live, but somebody was saying today, which is true. Najee's never been the type of running back that like he's gonna come and win this job back from some, exciting rookie who's, let's face
Jalen
it,
Warren.
probably
Jalen
eh.
Warren was exciting, super efficient as a
But
young guy.
Jay yeah,
I mean, he's not
but he
Hampton's
also
level
didn't
talent,
he
but
also didn't have to
Najee
win the
washed him.
job back after being out for a while. I don't know,
Well,
I'm just
but
like
as with a guy with only 4 years as a clear lead bell cow, I don't think you can say that he doesn't have that ability when he's never had to show that. Like, I know he hasn't shown to be the best running back, but he's reliable and he's good in short yardage, so, like and he's big bodied, doesn't get hurt. If he takes
mhm,
enough work, I think it severely limits Hampton's upside. The Greg Roman offenses don't pass that much to the running backs either, and I get, like, they're saying they wanna get the ball to him, but they have quite a bit of weapons, and I I like Hampton a lot, but I just don't know if, if he's 2-3 turn, like, I'm gonna fade him pretty hard
you gonna
probably.
fade him? Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if I'd take him there because I like a lot of the receivers and stuff there too, and, like, I'm definitely not taking him over, say, like, JT, but, like, I think I would definitely take him in the early 3rd round once, like there's only really a couple guys there right now I like Adams and Garrett Wilson being 2 that come to top of mind. Um, that's part of why I pull up Lamar and everything so much.
Mhm. That's fair, yeah, if you don't like a lot of the guys. I could see it
And
over the
but
receivers, that's fair.
But I'm just like, and when I said it, I guess I should have rephrased it, or I guess I should have clarified more. I didn't mean like we should be drafting him at the like late second in place of where Bucky Irvin's at, but just in general, in a nutshell, not thinking of ADP or anything like that. To me, I'd rather have Hampton than I would Bucky. I mean, hit their star tackle is going to be out for how many games? We don't know for sure yet. Um,
Yeah.
White, we talk about Najee being involved. So who is more involved for their team this year as it stands right now if you had to bet money on it? Najee or White?
Assuming no injuries, Najee. I
You
think
think?
Bucky carries higher injury risk because he's smaller.
Yeah, yeah. Well,
But
of course, no injuries whenever we're talking about stuff like that. Okay,
yeah.
okay. I just think White is going to have still more of a role than what a lot of the true Bucky truthers are thinking. And I know you're not one.
I
I'm just saying in general. But
I
I hope he don't go. I hope that Hampton doesn't go up that high because I love taking him. Late third, early fourth. Early fourth days are done. Forget about it. You're probably gonna always have to take him late third, I would think, unless Najee gets into camp really soon. But the longer that Najee's whereabouts are unknown, we'll put it that way, and the longer that he's not practicing, they're going out and signing the ghost of Naeem Hines,
yeah.
which also
Yeah.
says how much they hate Vidal.
Yeah, well, I mean, Vidal is just not I mean, he's not gonna be a guy, I don't think. But
No,
yeah.
I wanted him to last year, or my bags in the late rounds did.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I was just always in on, I mean, J.K. Dobbins is, like, my guy, but he always has been. It wasn't really, like some revelation last year. I was also in on him when he tore his ACL week 1, so, either he sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't.
Yeah,
Um,
well, no, I'm definitely in on Dobbins this year. I know that's a whole nother team. I was just telling Who Hames last night that like I don't really think it's a hot take, but I was telling somebody or talking on my stream one night, and someone in the comments thought that it was. I think like assuming everybody's healthy. When I think about the way I think the Broncos want to play, I don't think it's crazy to think there's definitely a world where Dobbins ends up with more points at the end of the year than Harvey this year. Is that crazy to think?
no, I don't think so. I actually think Dobbins is really underrated, like, I think he's getting no benefit at all for being 2 years removed from all these major injuries, and I
Hmm.
think we give so many players credit, but because he was injured so many years in a row, like, he's getting no credit for that. He's only 26, he's not old, he doesn't have that much
Hmm.
volume on him, and he's always been really efficient. I think both of them could actually have pretty good years, though. I just think at cost, like Dobbins, I think he's still really good at cost. I would take him
No,
like Charbonnet range.
No, I will admit part of why I had some Vidal bags that I don't really like to remember is because last year I was very skeptical on, how will this guy be able to stay healthy most, if not all of the season, just with the injury history. I was really out on Edwards. I just thought that like going from a
Yeah,
team with Lamar, let's face it, Lamar opened up all those big ass holes that Edwards used to run through up the middle because your number one thing when you're playing defense against the Ravens is we cannot let Lamar get outside, on a read option type play. So that's naturally going to open up the bigger holes in the middle. So I was definitely out on Edwards, and I was very hesitant to draft Dobbins. And so I did kind of play it like, well, if Dobbins gets hurt and Edwards is as bad as I think he's going to be there, then they could give the rookie a chance, and he had a lot of
yeah,
rushing yards in college. I didn't love his tape or anything, but it was more so of I saw the opportunity being there, and for a while he was going at the very end of the draft.
yeah. And and I mean, think about that one wheel route. He ran that one wheel route.
Yeah. Now see when he started moving up in the draft, that's when I kind of, started backing off. I was like, all right, it's not the same now. I'm not taking a, 17th round or whatever pick that's just like a dart throw. And if I'm wrong, I'm wrong on him or whatever. So I
Yeah,
definitely didn't chase him up the board. Let's say what's up real quick and then we'll touch on some more teams. We'll give it a few more minutes. I know you got to get out of here for too late, but if it doesn't eventually feel, we can hop in a BBM or something. So if any of you guys want, it is a sprint. We are waiting on 7 people. What's up, Green Bean? What's up, Dirty P? Good to see you in here. I don't know which way to vote on the poll. Nah, it's Hampton, right? It's gotta be Hampton. What's up, Nick? Mr. Winning the Flex himself. Hampton over Taylor. That's an interesting one. I can't get there. I like my boy JT. I kind of have to, right? Name and everything. What's up, Losamo? How you doing? Let's see who else is in here. Hampton over Genty. Our boy Nick is going to single-handedly push him up to the early second round. What's up, Tim D? Good to see you in here. Steve said he's in the sprint lobby with us. Hopefully, we can get it to fill here soon. What is up, DQ? What is up? Somebody asked, there it was, Diggs or Godwin? It has to be Diggs. I see Hartman answered it in the chat. For me, it is definitely Diggs. Speaking of which, let's see if I can share this real quick. I don't know if before screen remove the other media source. Let me remove that one. I don't know if you guys watch ADP Chasing. It's a show that I like to listen to during the day when it comes on. And they went on about a 10-minute or so rant today because this picture surfaced of Godwin. Now, of course, we don't know, is that left ankle taped up and that's why it looks so thick. And then later on today, news comes out in Tampa Bay about he actually did have a second procedure, more of a cleanup type stuff. I think it was like in the springtime sometimes. Of course, he started on the pup. Doesn't look like, he's been working out that much. They pointed out how the right calf, they got pretty deep into the investigation. Let's just say that the right calf looks better or more muscular,
Yeah.
we'll say, than the left calf. Out of the whole 10-minute spiel, my biggest takeaway was, and it's hearsay, but whatever, a commenter in their comment section of ADP Chasing said that he had the exact same surgery as Chris Godwin had, and he was laying out the timeline of how long it took his swelling to go down and stuff like that in the ankle. Take
Mm.
it for what it's worth. I myself have famously this year been pretty out on Tampa as a whole. Um, I, I just, Baker had the best year of his career last year. Yes, with Liam Cohen. Could there definitely be some pullback from that? Like, he had 400 something rushing yards, but before last year, he never came close to that. So I don't know. My thing is not that I don't think they'll be a good offense. I just think that a lot of them are overpriced. Mike Evans is the one that I still take with a decent amount. I feel like he's probably the best value in my opinion. Him and White are probably the best or the two that I take the most. How have you been playing Tampa, and what do you think of the Godwin stuff?
Um, I think it is pretty worrying for Godwin. I do think if he falls, he could be like a pretty good value. Because even if he doesn't come back, let's say until like mid October or something, or like get kind of more up to speed, 80-90% by mid October. Um, I think in the seventh round, that's a pretty good value still because that could be like your fourth, fifth receiver. Um, but how I've been playing it so far is like I have the most Rashad White at like 11%, and then Evans is the only other guy. He's at 9%, and Godwin and Amika are just below, like 7 and 6. So, and then Baker's at like 5. So
Okay, okay. So you're not really super in on them. Sounds like you're just kind of, for the
no,
most part, at the field on the ones you like or whatever.
and I like Godwin and Amika a lot in my like Miami stacks. Like I'll pick them a lot with
Mhm.
like Hill or Waddle. I like doing that quite a bit.
I will say with Godwin for sure starting at least right now. I know they can come off at any time in the preseason, but with him not doing anything on the pup, news that he did have the second clean out or whatever. Abuka is definitely a guy that I do want to start getting a little more on. I hadn't been drafting him because it's just like everything we kept hearing was how Godwin was on this great track, was going to be ready for week one, this and that, and it's just like there's so many mouths to feed there, and at the end of the day, like if they're really giving the ball to Bucky a lot, Evans is going to get his. how much is there if it's split pretty evenly between Godwin and the rookie Ibuka? How much is there really? But like, I don't know. I do need to get a little bit of Ibuka just in case. Godwin does have an injury history and everything.
Yeah, I could see pulling Igbuka up to like slightly overweight because just with the way I build with kind of picking a little bit heavier receivers, um, I think he's like would generally be my wide receiver 5. So I wouldn't feel too bad getting him like I especially on like Miami builds, like I said, but just for late season upside, that late in my wide receiver lineup, um, doesn't feel too bad.
Yeah, yeah, I hear you. And then the last bit of news I had, and then I guess we can hop out of that and we'll go do a BBM or something because it doesn't seem like people want to draft sprints tonight. BBM will fill up pretty quick for us. It still needs 8, so I don't know. I don't want to sit here all night waiting on it. But yes, that is what I had mentioned, Mark, that their star
Yeah.
tackle is out. That of course affects Bucky. It affects the passing game too, but just affects the offense as a whole. People are afraid to get in a room of sharks. I don't know. I think people are kind of enjoy the pain, like every other day you throw on a stream draft and there's like any 5 random ones of us in there and the room fills up instantly still.
Yeah, people just I mean, you look at the sprint and the marathon, they're both barely over 20%. Like there's less than 60 days, there's like less than 50 days left till the season. It's
Yeah.
just I mean, they're going to have to either drop major promos or these are going to have I wouldn't think more than 80% full even with like the overlay chasers and stuff.
Yeah, yeah. Well, and it's like just like in DFS, if the closer we get to, the deadline, people will just start cramming into that sucker with, to get what little overlay there might end up being or whatever. But I hope they do some promos because I want to draft in general more sprints than BBMs myself this year, as far as especially what I do on my own, not with guests and stuff like that. It fits the way that I like to build and stuff. But
Mhm.
Steve, if you're still listening in the background, I think we're gonna go hop out of this one. Hartman kind of has a time he's looking to get out of here tonight. I don't want to keep my man around too late. We're going to hop into a BBM. I'll do it on 1026 since they do tend to fill a little faster. In case anybody wants to get in a BBM and chase the $2 million with us. But the last little bit that I had was, what do you think about just the San Francisco stuff with like Pearsall? You think it's a nothing? It's so damn hard to believe Shanahan after last year when he says it's nothing and he'll be back in a couple days.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, I don't know. I don't feel too bad. They didn't say his injury was too bad like in the pre-camp, so I'm not really too worried about it. I know they're not super reliable, but if it lingers on, I'll be more worried, but I'm still clicking him. If he falls, I'm gonna actually click a lot of them.
Yeah. So in general, do you like Pearsall? Because I'm not really that
Oh,
that
yeah.
in on him. I like I've been smashing the heck out of Kittle, to be honest with you. I love taking Kittle. I see a world where at the end of the year he just has been their top guy. Why is that thing not coming up? That's new.
Y yeah, I'm
Mm-mm.
overweight, Pearsall, CMC, Purdy, and Kittle. So, like, I have all 4 of them overweight, by a decent amount, but Pearsall is my highest.
Okay, okay. I don't know why my best ball overlay thing is like kind of acting funny right now.
Oh, what do you mean?
I don't know, like when I try to click on the little settings thing right there, it doesn't come up. And it's got like all kind of weird, like it's got like 4, looks like it's like stuck on from when I was doing an eliminator the other night or something. Hmm.
Yeah.
Let me try let me try one thing. Active. That is weird. Try and go into it on a different tab. See, it's still doing it over there. That is so weird.
And
I
if you
might just
click
have
the
to turn
settings
it
wheel,
off.
nothing happens if you click the settings.
Yeah, whenever I try to click the settings, it just goes off. I don't know if it's something with my extensions.
Hmm.
There it did something and switched to 2. I don't know. We're on the clock. I'll have to mess with it after this draft. What are we doing? CD Lamb
Yeah, I mean, I think so. Pretty easy.
at 6. That's kind of a gimme pick, I think.
Yeah, definitely.
I can't even turn this thing off now. See, it won't go away. This is really weird. I've never had it do
Oh yeah,
this.
it's like it looks like the old version right now.
Yeah, I know. And I got the new version loaded and everything.
Huh.
It's so weird.
I mean, I guess you could like delete it, re-download it quick. I don't know if you want to do all that though.
No, I mean, I'll do it whenever I get off or maybe it's so weird. I'm trying to just do one little quick thing real quick. And then if it doesn't work, that fix it? Nope. We'll just turn it off. Whatever. We're just gonna have to go without it, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know. I can't even like load the extension. I mean, load it or whatever. So weird.
Yeah.
Anyways, we're back on the clock in 2 picks. Don't pay any attention to those. The other night I was doing an eliminator and I had 4
There
different
No, those are end of the season because it says
they are?
Rams for Drake
Oh
London.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Rammed. Yeah. But it's weird. It's got like
It's got
who do
5
they play?
games.
Yeah, yeah. It's I don't know. It's really weird. I'll figure it out after this draft.
So we have Lamb.
We
I
want
mean,
to
Lamb
go
London's pretty unique, right?
for sure, for sure.
Yeah.
The worst part is I can't even turn the dang thing off. I want to just turn them off for now. Um,
Uh, I mean, the easiest way, if you're on Chrome, it should be right next to your search bar, and then what do you do?
yeah, I'm going and trying to turn them all off right now.
I think you just hit manage and then you turn it. You can click off. There's like a little switch when you click
There
manage.
we go. At least it's not cluttered up for us right now. Maybe I just need to go re-download it or something. Maybe I downloaded it wrong or something today.
Yeah, I mean that's probably what I would try because I don't really know why it would do that. Lamb London, that's a nice start though. You don't see
For
that
sure,
much.
for
It's hard to
sure.
get like Lamb Puka or not Lamb Puka, London Puka. I mean
Let's get into it. Let's see how the board goes. This is a BBM, so I definitely want to keep my
Chase
focus
Brown,
here. Steve hopped in and he is in the 4 spot. The one hole started with Chase, Bowers, and Wilson. Chase Brown all the way up at 14.
Josh Jacobs at 17.
They're getting their guys, huh?
Yeah, that's crazy. And then Bowers at 24. I mean
Mm-hmm.
that's crazy. Huh.
What are you thinking right here? We got the 2 receivers.
I mean,
We could go
I'd
with a
lean
running back like
I'd
Trey
be
McBride.
yeah, either Trey McBride or Brees.
Let's go Brees. You okay with Brees?
Yeah,
Or
that's
you
fine.
rather have McBride? Which one? You call.
Brees is fine. I mean, that's like my favorite running back, so I
We'll
like both the
grab
guys
him.
a lot. Yeah,
It really, if Brees was gone and it was down to like Kyron or McBride, I would say go McBride maybe then. But I don't know. Brees could have a really big year this year.
Yeah, I haven't done a BBM in a little bit. Some of these ADPs are surprising. Like
Well, you know what I
like
think
like
is messing it up
QBs.
too is, um well, part of what I think is pulling some, people up in general is they have that, and I don't know, it's probably not enough drafts to really affect it a lot, but I think it's wrong that they have that Badge Bros thing listed in with all the other ones, you know what I'm saying? Like, I noticed that
Yeah.
exposure-wise, Badge Bros is listed in with just your normal regular draft exposures, so that means they're probably going off of the same ADP, correct?
No, ADP should be by contest.
Oh,
Cause
ADP is by contest?
like, if you open a puppy and a BBM when they're both open, they'll have a little bit different ADPs.
Okay, I was under the impression that, like, if it was the same exposures or whatever, because like, Sprint has its own set of exposures and Eliminator has its own set, Superflex has its own set, so thanks for clearing that up for me. I was under the impression that, like, it was grouped by, like, if all the contests had the same set of exposures, ADP kinda works for those, but
Oh,
I guess because I know when the first couple days when I was drafting Badge Bros, it seemed still like,
well
normal ADP or whatever.
that's the initial. So it
Oh,
starts
okay.
as the same as
Like that,
BBM.
but then it'll work its own. What do we wanna do
Right.
here? We can go receiver again with Ted.
Uh, yeah,
We
I
can
mean,
go
I'd lean
Hurt.
Pet. Hurts is fine too.
Let's go with the receiver. Can never have enough good receivers on a BBM team, is what I was told.
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean, that feels like a pretty good start.
For
Yeah,
sure.
I like Brees Hall there. It is man, it's just like it feels like this 4th and 5th round have gotten shuffled up so much like the last couple weeks.
Mhm,
Like
mhm.
or 3rd and 4th, I mean, sorry. 3rd and 4th round. Like,
Nick took Hampton at 34, so he did not have to take him in the second round like he was talking about.
yeah. Yeah. Yeah, and I mean, I think like Hampton, he'll probably go to like the 3-4 turn, I guess. Maybe he'll flip
Mhm. Well, he
Kyron
was
eventually.
already at the 3-4 turn pretty much.
Yeah.
I
What
think
is
he's
his
gonna settle
ADP?
kinda I think he's gonna kinda settle right in here. That's where I could see him. I don't think it'd be hard. He could, I guess, get over Brees, but I don't think so. I could see him passing Kyron. That's the running back that I could see him passing just because a lot of the narrative out there is, people don't seem to be that in on Kyron in general this year.
Yeah, he sucks. So that makes sense. He's
There
not
you
good
go.
at football. That's the only problem. Um,
I'll tell you some of the guys I like here. If it was me, I would probably go receiver again, unless you wanted to reach down for like a mixin. I like
I think
DK.
DK easy. That's a big fall.
Okay. Some
Yeah.
people are really, really just out on him, though. I like him, especially past ADP. That gives us a big boy receiver room in CD, Drake London, Ted, and Metcalf. Brees holding down the running back spot for right now. We'll get him some help eventually.
Yeah, and I mean, like,
What's up, who?
I think DK's a guy, like, I don't love him, but I think he's fair priced. Um, I think his price is, like, totally fair. You can pick him where his ADP is, but I won't have a bag, but if he ever falls, I pick him quite a bit.
Mhm.
And, like, I think the only thing that stops me from having a lot more DK is, I just, like, smash George Pickens, like, every time. So,
Well, and I'm sure you'll be doing it now more after the lovely stuff that his coach had to say about him today.
oh, yeah. I mean, he's already, like, my second. I have, like, 25% or something. So, it's like,
Did you say he's
that's
your
my guy.
second highest receiver?
Yeah. Yeah, him and
So
Tet.
then you have to be, yeah, about to say you have to be pretty, pretty high on Dak then, because I know you're super high on Lamb also.
Yeah, Lamb's my 3rd receiver. Higgins and Lamb are 2 of the top 3, and then Dak's, like, my 2nd QB, I think. So,
Let me
all in
see.
on
I wonder.
Dallas.
I'm pretty in on them. Probably not as much as you. I'll pull it up over here on this other tab. See what we're working with. We're at 17% Dak, 16% Pickens, 14% Lamb. So we're not too far behind you. We are on the clock. What do we want to do here? Want to go one more receiver and get Addison, or
Addison's fine. I like Caleb Johnson too.
are
Um,
you in on Caleb?
I mean,
Let's take
Addison.
another running back.
Oh,
Ah,
alright.
sorry.
I don't know, that's
I thought
cool.
you were wanting to go Caleb over Addison.
I mean, it
It'll
gives
work
us,
out. We
like,
have
double
Pitts.
Pittsburgh, so,
Uh-huh.
I mean, not the best team to stack, but I think stacking, like, the alpha receiver and, the hopeful rookie running back, that's not a bad combo.
Yeah, and I mean, I have been not in on Johnson, and I'm trying to warm. Let's see. Well, I can't see my percentages because the overlay messed up. But I'm trying to warm up a little bit to where like I want to be, maybe 6% or something like that. I still don't think he's a guy that I want a ton of, but I need to get to like at least 5% of him because if not, I'm probably just going to end up with like 25% Warren. And I don't know if that's what I want to do either.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I mean, I've kind of been the same. I'm definitely going more Warren, but I I definitely want exposure to Caleb Johnson. I don't love him as a player, but he has the potential to, like, really burn you. So those are
Hmm.
the guys that I definitely want close to the field. I'm not even gonna fade him very hard.
Let's see. We don't need quarterback yet. We got some nice later options that's going to be working. We
Mhm.
can let's see what's 70s. No. Think it's either just keep adding to the running back or wide receiver room here. I
Can you
guess we'll
can you
see
click
what's
can you click just running back for a second?
we have
Um,
Checo, Pollard, Jones, B Rob, Mason over there.
mm, Steve took I kinda wanted Diggs. That's what I was
Yeah.
gonna say. Yeah.
We can go
Oh,
for
and Ricky was
Pacheco. Do what?
yeah, Pacheco's cool.
You good with Pacheco? Go ahead and lock in that third running back. Maybe if Caleb starts a little slow, then it's kind of nice to have a guy like Pacheco. I think with those three, with Caleb, Pacheco, and Hall too, that kind of opens it up where like, we're gonna need to start getting some quarterbacks. Eventually we probably want to get at least one tight end so our tight end room's not just super gross. And so that kind of, if we wait and take the rest of our running backs later, I think it's fine because we got for sure two starters plus Johnson should be in the mix and could potentially just be the starter at some point.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, definitely. I mean, allegedly this rookie running back class is generational and it was loaded with talent. So, if that's the case, I mean, I think, well, Nick said it in the chat too. Like, I want heavy exposure to a lot of these guys, all these rookies. I mean, this is allegedly one of the best classes we've ever seen at running back, and I think especially some of the later guys, it's like they didn't get the day one starting role, so now they're not a good talent anymore. And because,
Mhm.
or just like the difference with some guys, right? Like Trevor Etienne is undraftable behind Chuba when he went super close to Cam Scadaboo in the real life draft. And it's
Mhm.
like, I don't, it's kind of weird with some of that kind of stuff. Like I don't think Chuba's this elite talent where if ETN's a 4th round pick, just like a lot of these running backs that go a lot higher. He's just an example,
Mhm.
like just a random guy, maybe with some draft capital, but a lot of those later guys, they could be very talented and have fallen because the class was so deep.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. Um and that's what I was saying. He's definitely most of the rookie running backs this year I am definitely in on. he's one of them that I just been having a hard time getting there. Part of it is just Aaron Rodgers. What do we want to do here? Do we want to take a detour for tight end since we're not probably quite to where we want to grab quarterbacks yet? Hawkinson
Um,
sitting there at the top, or we could go.
so
What are you thinking?
I would queue up Hawkinson, and then let's look at receiver. Um, I mean, nothing super important.
No, I think
Yeah.
it's kind of nice just to go ahead and get us a tight end that we feel. I like Hawkinson. Are you in on him this year?
Oh yeah, I have quite a bit. He's one of my higher owned. I don't have an insane amount just because my highest owned is like the tier right after with like Kraft and Joku, Warren, Loveland. Those are
Hmm.
like my highest owned range. I have tons of all those guys. But Hawkinson I have overweight too, maybe like 13%.
Okay, well, I have honestly probably about double that. I'm super in on
Yeah.
Hawkinson, but I don't know. Part of it is just because when I don't draft a lot of McBride, I don't draft any Laporta, and so I just feel like trying to see all right, we'll have to watch that. Pickens drafters on the left side of the board over there, so we can probably get Dak at ADP. We probably don't need to try to do nothing crazy. Well, to actually be a little past, I guess. I don't know. What do you think? We can
No, we
grab
don't
Dak
ta
here if we want to, or since we have other late options, we could try to get him to come back.
yeah, there's no point. I mean, we don't have what's our wide receiver room? Can I see the receivers quick?
We have Lamb,
Lamb,
London,
London.
Tet, and Metcalf. So I would say if we don't go Dak here, then go ahead and grab maybe another receiver.
Yeah. Yeah, I think so. What's running back look like? Just in case there's any values. Uh, oh no, we have
Yeah,
Caleb.
but we already have Johnson,
Yeah.
Tracy there. We could go with Dobbins. We were both just talking him up before
Um,
today.
I actually think go back to receiver. I think receiver. I think Keon is who I'd go or like
Keon
Burden.
Coleman.
Yeah, Keon or Burden. Shaheed
I
would
like
be
Coleman. I think let's go Coleman. He's a second year guy, he was everybody wants to write him off, but, like, we knew it, right? We knew that, like, coming in, he was a really, really raw kind of prospect, so, like,
mhm.
is there a world where, like, okay, he played last year, he learned, they gave him homework, and he worked on what he needed to work on in the off season, and, I'm not saying he'll be a stud this year, but is there a world where a guy we're drafting at 100 attached to Josh Allen isn't a guy that you end up really wishing you had? Like, of course it is.
Well, and I think too with a guy like that as your wide receiver 5, he's a deep play receiver and the Bills kinda maybe cycle through weapons. So,
Mhm,
with a guy like that as your wide receiver 5 though, you get those big spikes when he hits those big plays with Josh Allen, but you're
mhm.
not relying on him week to week. And I think that just makes him a pretty good value with the offense he plays in.
Agreed. Let's see, that guy has Mahomes. The Allen drafter has 2. I think it's probably going to come down to the guy in front of us. Dak is top on the board. The guy in front of us does not have a quarterback. He doesn't really have a reason to draft him, but a lot of his quarterbacks are also already gone.
Mhm.
Caleb's
Who's his
gone.
Oh, yeah, he has
We'll
no
see what he does.
quarterback.
No, he doesn't really have any stacks unless he gets really gross.
And Jared Goff's better anyway. He was like top 6 last year or something. Threw like 40 touchdowns, I think.
We'll see what he does. We'll see if he lets us get him or if he takes Dak unstacked. That is
There
what
you
I
go.
was worried about. He grabbed him unstacked. So I
Jake
guess we
Ferguson
gonna
incoming.
push it one more time or
Uh, yeah, well, yeah, queue up Scadaboo. Let's look at QB. Uh, that's fine. Scadaboo's fine.
yeah,
Who's
we'll see what comes around.
so our next, so we have really late guys.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, yeah. We're probably gonna have to go with like a young Penix, and then I would say maybe one of these guys unstacked because if not, if we want to get all stacks, then we're probably looking more. I guess we could take well, he just went to. I'm about to say we could take JJ, but Steve just grabbed him.
mhm.
We could always, do the old tight end with your quarterback thing later. I don't know. I'm not afraid to take a quarterback unstacked. Like I think if we take whenever we have a decent value, like let's see, what are our next couple picks coming up? 126 and 139. So like for me, I don't know. What are you thinking?
Well,
Talk to
I w-
me.
I would take Herbert if available, just because I think he's a tier above.
Mhm.
But other than him, I agree with you. I think we wait. Okay, he goes. So I agree. I think we wait. Can we see receiver? So
Was already thinking with you.
okay, yeah.
We're on the clock. I
I
like
don't know. Is there
Tillman,
anyone
but
you
that'd
like?
be a
I mean,
major reach. You want to
oh,
just take
love.
Loveland for a tight end?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Definitely.
That's a lot better value, I think, than whatever receivers are out there. And
And we
I
can
don't know
switch.
about you, but I would even be okay if we needed to, because it's obviously gonna be a three quarterback team.
Mhm.
So I would be okay if we decided we wanted to just go with Hawkinson and Loveland as a tight end room. I think that's fine.
Oh, I think 100%. I like unless we really wanted to for like a stack. Like if we want to throw on like no, I probably wouldn't even put another tight end on that because
No,
I
that's
mean,
that's what I was saying because we're gonna have three
yeah,
quarterbacks, right? I mean, like clearly, like if at this point, if we're lucky, probably Penix is our one. So it's like how far do we really want to keep pushing it, past that?
mhm, yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah, I don't think
Which I
what else
think
is
we
there?
should
Yeah, I mean
hopefully
we're
be able
taking
to get
Penix
him.
next pick, so
The guy in front of us still only has the one and it's Dak, so there's always the possibility that we end up getting sniped on him. Also,
yeah.
guess we'll queue him up and hope that he comes to us. Start thinking of a backup plan in case he
Well,
doesn't.
if he goes, we just take T Law. Oh no, T Law goes. Nick took him. I mean, I'm sure he had him stacked, but yeah.
The guy in
That's
front of us did have like Pittman. I know that might be our saving grace. Maybe he's just going to push like a Dak and two really late quarterbacks. Also, like we're going to have to do. There's some running backs on the board. He has four running backs already though. All right, we got
had
him
to
at
get a
least.
stack.
So at least we'll take Penix. We'll see what comes back around to us. If he comes back around to us, go ahead and probably take Bryce, huh?
Yeah.
Then
Yeah, I
we'll at
mean, that's
least
definitely
okay.
the pick.
Maybe like a
Cool.
Penix, Bryce, and old man Rogers team, worst case, because you can get Rogers dang near free.
Yeah, yeah, no, that's exactly what I'm thinking. I mean, that's our top 3 receivers we can stack, so, yeah, that's really our only options even, right? Because
Yeah, as far as like stacking somebody for sure.
yeah. Well, now I don't think there's anyone, like I mean, there's guys this late, like, if we have to, we can take on stacked, but I don't think there's a reason to take a guy on stacked when we can get a stack with our, you know, pieces we spent pretty good capital on. We're not back stacking something like that with low owned, like low value pieces, I should say.
Exactly, exactly. Great minds think alike sometimes. Steve didn't take him. This guy has two QBs. Not sure who his receivers were. Hopefully he'll let him
Two-
slide on by.
Well, there's no Panthers receivers other than Het gone if Leggette's there, right?
Yeah, yeah, no, I know, but just, sometimes people will just grab people unstacked. We'll
Yeah,
go ahead
he
and
has
grab
a
Price. That
he
makes me
has a
feel a little better.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Yeah, no, I mean, that feels pretty good, and then we can just get whoever has the 3rd and we're good. I mean, hopefully
Mhm.
it's Rodgers, but, kinda fine with anyone.
'Cause we have strength at running back. I mean, we have Breece, Caleb, Pacheco, and Scat. We have CD, and then London, Tet, Metcalf, and Coleman. London and Tet obviously are stacks. We have a nice little tight end room with the steady Eddie Hockenson, some upside, and Loveland. Ben Johnson did do amazing things with old I can't think
Oh,
his
Sam
name slipped my
Laporta.
mind. Yeah, Sam Laporta. Sometimes names be slipping my mind sometimes. I knew who I was talking
Well
about, but just couldn't think of the name. But if he was the offensive coordinator for Sam Laporta's amazing rookie season.
one did you see the what Ben Johnson said today, like, the coach speak on Loveland?
I missed that one.
Oh, he said, "I'm blown away by how Colson Loveland has approached everything from the moment he got into the building. I don't think there's a guy I saw in the building more this summer than him. He's attacking the rehab hard. He wants to be a factor this fall." He was he was pretty hyping he was hyping up Loveland and Caleb a bunch.
Nice. Tim has the 7th pick. What draft are you in, Tim?
I think he said he just got the 7th pick. I don't know if he meant in this one.
Yeah, I'm assuming he's talking about a different draft that he's in.
I think.
Maybe he's in that sprint. Maybe he didn't get the memo that we jumped out of it. All right. So, do
So
we want to get back in the receiver room here? I see something
w
that makes a lot of sense to me. Not sure how you feel about it.
yeah, well, let's see QB.
I think we can probably, well, I mean,
Yeah, y
something, we can probably get Rogers to come back around. Or do you want to go Rogers here and lock it up?
let's go Rodgers. It's
We'll
fine.
go
I mean, we
Rogers.
have
We
Ted.
can
We don't
always get.
need
I
yeah.
just know Thielen's not coming back. There's no way Steve being in front of us is going to let Thielen come back.
Well, that was actually
Steve,
Steve has 1 QB, and I know he's a 3 QB
Uh,
guy. So,
okay, okay. Good job watching the board for us. I hadn't been paying that much attention to the board like I should. I pay attention to the board more whenever I'm on the corners than in the middle, but I should probably still pay attention. Steve likes and sometimes I do, it's just I'm still will call me a sophomore. I'm not quite a rookie, I guess, at streaming anymore. I'm I've got a few under my belt now, but sometimes it is hard to really be totally locked in on the draft when you're streaming, and then especially when you have a
oh,
guest on
definitely.
too. So good looking out. Yeah, that was probably a good call.
Yeah. Well, and Steve said, "Ha, Hartman knows." So yeah.
Well, if I
Yeah, I
would have
mean
thought Steve only had one QB, I would have I would have probably thought we should go ahead and grab him too. Uh,
yeah.
let's see. We have the 5 receivers and 4 running backs, so I think kind of take our pick. If we did want to go with some Carolina stuff, at least we could go with Rico. Shipley's out there. I don't know. Are you super in on Pat Bryant?
Oh,
I
yeah.
started out not that in.
Yeah.
You are in on him. We need a receiver. Let's grab him then.
Yeah, I think receiver we could look at the receiver tab real quick, like, just overall, like, close RB. Um, I mean, I also like Pierce, but I probably like Pat Bryant more, just if you really liked him. Oh,
I mean, I don't know. I'm kind of cooling off on him some. I just don't know how much they'll be there for him. But I definitely could be wrong. He's not a guy that I have a strong conviction about. I guess I'm leaning more towards I don't really like to click him much. But it's nice to take him sometimes. So we'll take him since you're in on him.
well, I just think that outside of Sutton, the receiver core is so weak that there can be room for him to take over a role. Yeah, he had decent draft capital, around the same as Kyle Williams, actually, you know?
Yeah, and that's true. And like, one thing that like who Hames pointed out the other day, which clearly I know it. I mean, the other receivers are what Mims and the one dude that played with the quarterback in
Oh,
college who they only
well,
took just because and
Franklin, and
Vele
then
too, but
they
they're
also
all
have
more of
Baylor.
like slots. But
Yeah,
like, who Hames was telling me that like Pat Bryant is supposedly he's supposed to be a really good pass blocker. So like especially down there in the
yeah,
red zone, I definitely do see a world where it's just they're running with Pat Bryant on one side and um with
yeah,
Pat Bryant on the other side, and what's his name on the other. Basically, he's going to be one
yeah.
of their
Him and
two
Sutton
main
are going to
guys.
be
So
the two
Sutton, yeah, I
outside
don't know
guys.
why names are just
Yeah.
slipping my mind tonight for some reason. It's been a long day, but look
Yeah.
at that. We may get Rico back if we want to do it there. We don't need quarterback again. Pierce is still there if we did want to hit up receiver. This is the
So
16th.
so can you tell me quick what's the case? What's the case for oh, he goes anyway. I guess it's fine then. Maybe after this pick. Can you tell
Yeah,
me?
yeah, I can tell you my case for him. I'm actually kind of in on him. Do you want to go Pierce? You mentioned you like Pierce. I'm not that
Yeah,
in
I
on him,
mean,
but we can take him if you want.
who do you like? I'm pretty
Um,
open. I mean, he's fine,
you
but
want to just go ahead and get Hunter?
that's fine. Yeah.
Can I get it in? I don't think. Oh, I got it in barely. Look at that, just
Yeah.
in time. We'll get your boy Hunter. I know you like Hunter. I'm just not in on Pierce that much because I think even if they both play, Jones is going to play more than AR this year, and I just think Pierce was so much of what Pierce was because the one thing AR does when he throws the ball is chunk it deep. I was really in on just as a prospect and as a talent. I still like Adonai Mitchell. I think
Me too.
you know there's a world where I would rather just draft him around later or so than take Pierce, I guess is what it kind of boils down to. Um, where's Keenan Allen going to sign? Is Keenan Allen going to sign somewhere? I need him to. My bad.
Shady Green, Shady Green's retirement community. He's gonna sign a
Really?
1-day contract with the Chargers.
Really? You don't think he's playing football?
Maybe. I mean, I don't hate the pick to be honest. Like I was kind of joking, but it's tough. I mean, I'm underweight. Like I know he'll move up, but I'll get a bag then. I'm not gonna be overweight now. It, he's he's made so much money. If he doesn't sign with a contender or get a giant bag, he just might call it. He's made like $200 million playing football. It's like 30
Yeah,
something.
but it's
I'd be like, I did enough.
I just feel like, if he wanted to quit, if he wanted to retire, he would have already like publicly done it, I think. So, well, you want to go with Austin then since we have Rogers? Do you like that better?
Oh yeah, yeah. No, that's cool. Get the double. Yeah,
You like that?
yeah. I mean,
I
I'm
don't know. I
not.
just feel like if Allen was going to retire, like if he really had his mind made up that he was going to retire, I could see him going to the Chargers now. Mike Williams just retired. Like, yes, I know we like Trey Harris. Trey Harris was dusting probably some four string cornerback today in practice or whatever, and he looked good doing it. And I do like Trey Harris, but like, could Justin Herbert be even better if he brought his old boy Keenan Allen back? And, maybe you put Trey Harris on one outside and, you got Keenan Allen and Ladd kind of flip flopping between outside and slot on the other side or something. Run them, switch them around, use them in motions and stuff. I don't know. I still hope he goes to the Jets as their wide receiver too. I'm not sure if he would do that, but like I have a lot of Fields and I have a lot of Keenan Allen, and so I'm sure I have a decent amount of Fields and Keenan Allen on the same teams. So for that aspect of it, kind of sounds good to me. 3572. We don't really have much bye week issues. Do we want to go with the sixth running back here? There's one
Yeah.
particular
I
guy
think.
I like that I see at running back. Probably not a lot I like at receiver outside of Keenan Allen if he was to hold.
I think running back, I think our receivers are really strong. I think we just take an
That's
upside
kinda what I
swing.
was thinking too. I would say
Uh,
I don't think these guys are watching our stream, so I would say for me, and then you can make the call, or if there's somebody else you like. I've been
the
warming up
good
to some Ollie Gordon, and
the
Taj Brooks would probably be my top choice here.
the good brother, we can get some Carolina correlation.
With, ETN?
Yeah, the good one.
You wanna do that or you wanna do Brooks?
We can do either. I mean, if you don't want an ETN share in your portfolio, that's
Not
fine.
right now, not right now. Let's see what he does first. Let's take Brooks. You know, the other guy might retire,
Zach Moss.
Moss is like Moss, he might retire. It sounds like that Nick issue is still going on or whatever with him. Um, Team finished all right, 3-6, 7-2. Michael Penix, Bryce Young, Aaron Rodgers, Brees Hall, Caleb Johnson, Isaiah Pacheco, Cam Scatterboo, Hunter, Taj Brooks. That's a nice running back room. I mean, we have Pacheco and Hall holding it down. We have some rookie upside, three, four rookie upsides essentially to play for. Wide receiver room, Lamb, London, Ted, DK Metcalf, Coleman, Pat Bryant, and Alston. That give us the kind of Rodgers double like we talked about. I like the receiver room at all. Oh, overall. Hawkinson and Loveland at tight end. I think we did pretty well, my friend. I think we did pretty well.
Oh yeah, I think that team came out really good. I mean, obviously like QB is our weakest point, but I feel like at running back we have enough solid base to like get us through the early season and we have giant upside. And then at
Mhm.
receiver those top 4 are so strong. And tight end even we have a really strong room with huge upside. I think it's really solid and if QB can just be consistently pretty good, the rest of our team can really carry us through.
We
Young and Penix, those are young players with upside too.
yeah. Yeah, I think we could do all right. Hopefully they ping pong kind of just right for us. Hopefully Bryce doesn't lay a dud in week 5 because we do have the double week 5 buys. But whatever, it's 1 week. Last time I checked, they do not give us money for what we do in week 5, so it's
Well
not that big of deal.
well, I've always kind of felt like if you're gonna stack up some buys, it's so much better to do it really early in the season like that.
Yeah,
Because,
yeah, because you can
most
make up
likely
for it.
Bryce Young will be healthy, all your guys will be healthy. You can fill
Mhm.
those spots so much better.
Mhm. Now, I didn't forget about it. So my thing on Rico, and I guess
Oh,
before I
yeah.
get on my tangent, I always like to kind of see where I'm at. So he's not like because I'll have some high percentages. So he's not a my guy flag plant, but I do have 10% of Rico right now. And my thing is just that like one of the things that one of the things that really got me onto him was I don't know if you listen to do you listen to Establish the Edge, that little series that Leone and Ben Gretsch does every summer where they break down their projections on and they go division by division. It's a 8 episodes or whatever where they break down each division.
Yes, I haven't seen the Panthers one. I haven't seen that division yet, though. I've only seen,
When
like,
he
2 of them
talks,
so far.
it was a couple weeks ago. I was listening to it actually when I went to Chicago. I was listening to it on the plane. I downloaded it or whatever, and he had some real interesting stuff he was getting to in the pass game aspect of it, and he was going through a bunch of analytics on how much better over the last couple of years Rico has been in the pass game versus Chuba. Chuba's been like really bad in the pass game the last couple of years, just like on all the like analytical stuff or whatever.
Mhm.
And so I don't know. It's just like there's always the injury upside, right? Like, yeah, ETN's there, but like Rico was not that bad as a Cowboy last year. And I think that Carolina's offensive line is going to be maybe, let me see, where did I have them ranked at least this year a little bit better
Oh,
offensive line wise than Dallas. And so, like, I don't know. He's just a guy that I like clicking. I mostly like taking him on Bryce Young teams because of that little pass game upside that I think he might have. I think he can earn a role as kind of their passing down back because Chuba has historically not been that great at it. And he, at least again, number wise and analytics wise, he was pretty good at it last year in Dallas. So I think he can earn that role. And then there's always the upside, if an injury happens or something too.
Yeah, yeah. I think that. I mean, I think it's fair. I think he's an okay click. I guess the thing with him is I question upside outside of injury, and I also, I mean, like I was saying earlier, kind of making the case. Like, I'll be honest, I don't have a lot of him, but I think Trevor Etienne, he's kind of a pass catching specialist, and I think he can actually be decently talented. Um, I don't know. I mean, I just it's hard to believe in Rico. Like he had a decent year, but I don't know. Like it's just his career opportunities. Like he's just kind of an average running back and everything. Like his yards per
Mhm.
route run are pretty good. He's number 18 last year. But I don't know. Like just all his rushing efficiency, like they're average. They're okay, but I just have a hard time seeing the upside with them. I think it will be a committee. I don't think he can consolidate work in that backfield. I guess is my concern, even with an injury to Chuba.
Okay, okay, fair enough, fair enough. Maybe I should back off a little bit.
But
I don't know, and honestly,
yeah, I
part of
could be
why I
wrong.
started taking him a little more whenever, part of why I started taking him a little more whenever, basically, like it was the stuff I would say before that I was probably more like 5% on him before a couple weeks ago when I heard Gretsch talking about it, and I just really liked what he had to say on it, and at the time there was a lot of those later round running backs and guys kind of close to him that I was taking just because that's the way I like to build my team. I like to make sure that I get a couple running backs up top, two or three that I really feel good about. Take some of the backups later. That's how you can really, inject some extra, juice into your team if things break right for you later on. Whereas you can't do that with receiver, right? We can't like load up with five or six really good running backs and then take a bunch of 15 through 17th round receivers. And if injuries happen, they're just going to, really juice our lineup in the same way that running backs will. And so I really started taking him more so just to like even out some of my exposures. I was like, well, I do tend to believe some of the stuff that Gretsch talks about. I like him as an analyst and stuff. So I was like, maybe I should start taking him a little bit and back off some of the other guys, if nothing else, to simply, kind of mix things up a little bit.
Yeah, I I do think that's fair. I mean, maybe I'm just kind of overrating like ETN because like I don't think Rico's like a bad running back. So if ETN's really not anything, then yeah, I do see the upside in Rico. And like the big thing to me is like that just screams to not draft Chuba more than
Hmm.
anything. Like to me, the biggest signal is like fade Chuba because I think he has a lot of ways to lose work.
I will say that I am not that in on Chuba.
Mhm. I I looked at my Panthers. Rico is my highest owned Panthers running back at 2.1%.
So you were just out on all of them.
Yeah, and then I have 27 and 18% Tet and Coker. Passing
Oh,
game all in, running game all out.
They probably are going to have to throw the ball a lot more this year than they will admit, or they have to, just because their defense still isn't going to be that great. And while I think their offensive line will be a little bit better than it was last year, none of their running backs are really, studs or anything like that. So, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. But I am pretty in on the Panthers as an offense. Maybe the running backs. Maybe like a guy like Rico would be better mix in. But I'm just more in on the passing game and like the Bryce Young ascension.
Mhm. Yeah, I hear you.
I mean,
David
even yeah.
says that he is out on Chuba also. Had like 25% last year at ADP, but not where he goes now. Chuba is a guy that, yes, I am out. Let me see. I don't think I have much Chuba. I don't want to lie though. Yeah, less than 1%. I have 0.9%. I have him in one $5 draft total. So definitely out on
Wow.
Chuba as well.
Yeah, I was at like 1.5%. I have like a little bit, but wow, that's crazy. I like it. I mean, I think it's good, but
All right, man. Well, I know you said you were needing to get out of here at a decent time tonight. I think I'm gonna get on out of here too tonight, guys. After we talk a little bit, anything else you want to touch on from the crazy camp news today and stuff?
no, I don't think there was too much. Was there anything else you had that you were thinking of?
No, no, that was it from today. So take it for what it's worth. I was just telling my friend Mark this a little bit before the stream. I always talk about a former Texan defensive tackle, Seth Payne. He works for the Houston radio station, and he has a little YouTube that kind of breaks down like certain things with the Texans. And he's still obviously probably pretty well connected, to the organization, being a former player, living there in Houston and stuff. Notoriously, he was the one, and Mark can attest to this, like Tank Dell's rookie year, way before like everybody else knew what kind of role Tank was going to have on that offense. Like very, very early, first few days of OTAs, first couple of days of like camp. I kept hearing this dude scream about like on his YouTube, like he is going to be a problem. He is going to be super involved in this offense or whatever. And so famously that year, he was a guy that I ended up with like 30 something percent of, but most of it was like in the very, very late rounds before he started moving up late in the summer. There was the preseason game against New England where he got a little touchdown catch and then it was over with. Like we pushed him up the board crazy like we do. But my takeaway today, I was actually listening to one of his little deals today, and he was talking about what he's been hearing as far as like Nick Caley and what type of offense that he's going to run, and it kind of made me bullish on two things. One, I've been kind of talking about how I think the Texans are going to pass more. That's what the team's telling us with all the receivers they brought in. But he's saying that he's hearing Nick Caley's offense is going to be this blend of the early New England days and Tom's young years, and some of the stuff that he took away from his last 2 years working with McVay with the Rams. And one of the key points that he was talking about in there is Kaylee gives CJ homework this offseason of watching just a shit ton of early Brady tape. And the one particular thing that he wanted him to work on or to take away from it was getting the ball out quick, taking what the defense gives you, and how Brady would handle reading the defense pre-snap, checking at the line of scrimmage and all that. Because supposedly it's CJ's show this year. They've been saying that too. That like that's part of why Slowick got fired, is because they wanted to bring in a coach who was going to let CJ basically have that control at the line of scrimmage to come out. If he doesn't like what the defense is in, he can check out of the run, go to a pass, whatever. Whereas with Slowick, believe it or not, he couldn't do that. It was like if it was a pass, it was a pass. Like if it was a run right, they could check it left or something like that. But it was very, very little freedom for a quarterback that's supposedly as good as CJ is. And so my one takeaway from all that is, and it's a stretch, let's call it a hot take, but he has him watching all this early CJ Brady film, right? And he has him like working on checks out the line of scrimmage, and really wanted him to focus this year on getting the ball out, not taking sacks. And then the Texans, what a lot of people thought, reached way up for a running back who caught 250 passes in his college career. Like, could Woody Marks be like the Texans' James White? Is that maybe the role that they're gonna try to like do where they have like Mixon as your main running back or whatever, but on passing downs they bring him in and they're trying to get him involved a lot in the passing game. I don't know. It's not like I'm not saying I want to go draft him every time in the 18th round. He was already a guy that I had started to take some, but my main takeaway from that is it kind of reconfirmed what I thought that like they do plan on being a little bit more pass first than they have previously been the last couple of years. And I like the fact that my boy CJ is going to have a lot more control to kind of check in and out of stuff when need be.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I mean, I'm pretty excited for the Texans offense as well. Um, I think Marks is definitely a guy you could mix in as like, kind of a lower owned piece. Maybe especially in like time boxes and stuff. Because like if you think about some of these contests that are closing in like a couple days, especially in those, getting a guy like that, uh, you know, he's barely gonna be drafted, and even if he gets hype later, it's not gonna matter, right?
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, yeah.
I
And
do
especially like
worry
a
that
CJ team where you have like say you got Nico and you got CJ, but you didn't grab anybody else. Throw them on there in
Mhm.
the 18th round.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I guess I worry a little about Mixon and Chubb. I mean, are both older. Chubb might be completely washed. Mixon did look really good last year while he was healthy. He does get
Mhm.
hurt a lot, so I could see it as a low end piece, especially if Mixon goes down. Because like maybe Chubb takes some of the early down work in that case, but he's really not a talented pass
Mhm.
catcher. So Marks could have a pretty big role in that scenario. And maybe even
Hmm.
somewhat of a role like 2-minute drill, stuff like that,
Yeah, that's
even
what I
with
was
them
talking about.
healthy. Yeah.
I don't know,
I mean, I can
when I
see
heard
it.
Seth Payne talking about how, like, they, had him watching all that Brady tape and wanna focus on getting the ball out so early, and then I'm kinda putting that with, well, and then they turned around and what a lot of people thought was a reach on Marks to take him in the 4th round, like David just pointed out, maybe that's kinda their plan for him or whatever to just kind of, if they're gonna have a similar if their offense is gonna kinda be a mix of from what my understanding and what Seth was talking about was it's going to kind of be a mix of the quick hitting stuff. Sure, take your shots or whatever, but the quick hitting stuff that New England used to do, but he also wants to incorporate a lot of the motion and stuff that he took away from like his days with McVay or whatever. So I don't know. I'm excited to see what it's going to look like.
So so does that mean, I mean, is Christian Kirk gonna cook? Do we need bags of Kirk? I mean, you're saying, because see, when you were saying that, I actually thought you were leading up to say Kirk is like a monster picker, Noel,
Yeah.
because you're saying ball out quick. I was thinking slot guy, slot
Yeah,
demon,
well,
Christian Kirk.
but Nico too, just Nico's gonna eat. I mean, you can't cover Nico one on one. Not too many can. And CJ and him have a hella connection, And it's like
Oh,
Nico's
yeah.
got some speed too, Like I still think he's if Nico, here's my hot take, and I don't know, tell me if you think it's that hot. If Nico plays a healthy year because he always misses 4 or 5 games with that damn hamstring. Always creeps up on him at some point every year. If Nico played a full 17 games, I think Nico could easily be a top 3 receiver, just points wise playing with
Yeah,
CJ, like he's been on pace for it. If you look at his numbers over certain stretches or whatever, he's been on pace for it whenever he has help. When he's really when they've struggled, like say the end of last year and the end of the year before that, whenever it gets to where it's like nobody's out there running routes with him and stuff. Like last year, when Tank and Diggs went out, teams basically said, okay, all we got to do is not let Mixon kill us. Almost every game, like clockwork, the corner played Nico as tight as he could freaking play him and press coverage every play. And every play, damn near, they had a safety over the top for help. So that corner felt, he could really be aggressive with it and try to play as tight as he can. He's not going to get burned deep because he's got coverage
yeah,
over
they
the
clamped
top.
him. Yeah.
That's why they went out and did what they did and brought Kirk in and then turned around and spent their first 2 picks on wide receivers because I really think that, they don't want they don't want to put themselves in that role again, where like late in the season you got 1 or 2 injuries. Now it would take 3 injuries because, okay, even let's say Kirk gets hurt and Noel gets hurt, where you still have Higgins, you still have, Nico out there. So I don't know.
Yeah, I mean,
That was
I
kinda just something I
actually
was listening to today, and I found it kinda interesting.
what I mean, I think Nico could be the wide receiver 1 overall. I don't really think that I think anyone in the first round other than Amon-Ra probably as wide receiver can be wide
Mhm.
receiver 1 overall on the season. I don't think that's out of any of their ranges.
Okay. I think the one thing skill wise, like if our defense, I'm really high on their defense this year. Like I think they have a top 3 defense. That's why I have their defense rated. It's going to be pretty freaking nasty. And so I think that like that alone can probably would probably cap his true wide receiver 1 outcome season, because I think that
But
they will have a decent amount of games where, they're up comfortable in the second half, and they probably will be content to just kind of let Mixon do his thing if the running game's working.
yeah, I agree with that, but I think like any receiver that receives like a target share like him, and then is that efficient and can, like, especially win downfield, that's why I said not Amon-Ra
Mhm.
specifically too. Because like,
Yeah.
if Nico let's say Nico just catches, like, 6, like, 50 plus yard touchdowns this year, and he ends with 16 touchdowns, right? Like, he
Mhm.
could be wide receiver 1 even on a little bit lower volume if the touchdowns break right, and he gets above expected big plays, like Saquon, right? He's not
Mhm.
gonna have that many 50-yard rushing touchdowns this year probably, even if he has a great year again, but, like, if that breaks right, I think for any of those guys in the first round, I think they're good enough or will receive enough volume to they could be number 1 overall. And Nico, he's a huge play guy, so I think he has an actual if variance works in his favor, he has a very real path to number 1.
Mhm.
And then Neighbors is volume, Puka's efficiency, right? Top 3 guys are both.
Yeah, no, I'd agree with that, and, part of my thing too, like I saw, ah, part of my thing is, Mark was talking about the offensive line. Like, I don't know. Their offensive line is not good, like skill wise, but like I think it's gonna be a lot better than like what people think it's gonna be. Like they actually brought
True.
in some dudes that can help, not studs, not even really good players. I'm not gonna act like that's the case, but coaching has a lot to do with it, right? Like I don't think Bobby Slowick was as good a
Slowick's
coach
fault.
as people thought it. I mean, well, here's my case for that. 2 years ago, the last 2 years, we had literally the same offensive line with the exception of 2 years ago, 2 of the main guys were rookies. Last year, they were sophomore players, second-year players, so they essentially should have been better, right? But, like, it literally was the same damn offensive line. It wasn't like they went out and couldn't re-sign this guy or couldn't re-sign that guy. It literally as the guy that watches every one of their games, it was literally the same offensive line both years. But, like, Slowick's first year, 1, defenses didn't really know, at least early in the year, and especially when we had Tank to help open things up. Defenses didn't know yet, like, how is Slowick going to call plays? What kind of coach is he going to be? What is their offense going to be? And so he was able to do a lot of things to get the ball out of CJ's hands kind of quickly. And their major downfall last year was like, and that's why I don't think highly of Slowick as a coach. Like he didn't change anything. When you've heard some of my Raven rants and how one reason I'm so in on them is because a good play caller, a good offensive coach, going from year 1 to 2, they should take that next step, right? You can start adding in wrinkles and okay, we did this. Now we're going to do these 3 things off of what we did last year because quarterback coordinators have had a whole year to like sit there and study what you want to do. And Slowick did none of that. Like it literally from day one last year was like the same damn exact same damn offense with the same like he didn't have a huge route tree. Like they had very few things that they like to do. They like to hit, little call it medium 8 to 10 yard outs. They like to hit Nico on those deep crossers. They like to sometimes, hit Nico on a deep slant or something like that. They like to hit Nico on quick slant. Like, it was a very, very Manila basic offense. And so whenever coordinators had a whole offseason to see what he was doing, and then they see him coming out doing the same damn exact thing, next year, of course they're going to eat that shit up. And so then they were able to just blitz the crap out of us and bring pressure and confuse the not so great offensive line because they knew what damn routes they were running for the most part, and they knew what areas of the field to kind of guard. And so CJ had to hold the ball a lot longer because those same little 10-yard outs and slants and deep crosses to Nico, they weren't there last year because they were trying to do it the exact same way with no new wrinkles, nothing fresh on top of it or anything like that. And so that is why he got fired. And so my whole point to that is like, one of the things the Rams have been really good at over the years under McVay, hopefully Kaylee took some of that from him, was working with not necessarily making an offensive line that was comprised of guys who at times wasn't necessarily, thought of as amazing offensive linemen, but the system, right? Running the offensive line system with their whole offensive system to where they get the ball out quick. Or if it is going to be a longer developing play, they can, call the protection right on it and stuff, and mixing it up enough to where the defense doesn't know exactly what the hell is coming each play. So I don't know. I think their offensive line is going to be a lot better than it was last year. Not great. Not saying they're going to be like a top 10 offensive line or nothing like that. But I do think that they'll be better. And I think that hopefully this coach can, do some things to help them out. They brought in a new O line coach with Nick Caley. He got to kind of pick his guy that he wanted to bring with him for that role. So we'll see.
Mhm. And I think, like, maybe they get closer to middle of the pack and that'll be good enough, but,
Mhm.
you know,
And that's kinda what I think they could
yeah.
do. Like, again, I'm not,
If they have a good
no.
system, get the ball in space, kinda keep the defense guessing, right? Because I guess that's also part of it too, like you said, it's so predictable. Like, if the defense can't just know when you're gonna pass and know when you're gonna rush and just, pin their ears back and rush you, right? Then
Mhm.
it makes it a lot easier to kinda block those guys, stuff like that. Yeah, I mean, I I don't think that's a crazy take, whole different system can kinda change it. I
Yeah.
don't think they're gonna be elite by any means just based on, like, the talent cap,
Mm,
but if they're good enough, Stroud's a talented player, they have a lot of talented, like, weapons around them, they could definitely succeed, and a good defense too. I think as a team, they're gonna be pretty good. I think it's an offense, they should be good, but I do think there's risk to their offense as a whole, just with some of the I don't know, just, like the O-line, I mean, Mixon hasn't
mhm.
been super reliable with health. They have a lot of new guys to the team at receiver. We hope they're good. They haven't played on the Texans yet. Um, I think there's some risk, but I do think there's a ton of upside. I mean, I'm in on the Texans in general, like, overall, I would say.
Mhm.
Um, yeah.
No, that makes sense, and that's what I was saying. It's just a better offensive line, and everybody has them as one of the worst 3. I myself
Well,
am a little hopeful that they can be better than that.
I do think the reason though that people are so low on him is because, like, I know, like, Tunsil obviously got a lot of penalties and cost him a lot, and if you're, like, a real
Mhm.
fan that watched the game, you kinda hate him,
Hey.
but getting rid of him, right, he's, like, overall the highest, like, talent ceiling, right, and I don't know, like, allowed the lowest, like, pressure rates and whatnot, right, and then they
Mhm.
got rid of one of their other O linemen that was considered one of their better O linemen, right, at least as
But see,
far as
he
the
fell off last year. That
analytics.
was, you talking about Mason.
Jack
He
Mason?
was
Yeah.
old and washed though, man. Like 2 years ago, he was okay. There was definitely a noticeable drop off. I guess that was the one negative change from year 1 to year 2 in the Slowick system with that offensive line. They had guys like their center and, can't think of the other dude's name right now that was playing left guard for him a lot. They moved up to their second year in the league, but at the same time, Mason kind of like really, really, really fell off, and he struggled some with injuries or whatever. But I like what they did. They went out and got a lot of receivers. They brought in just a lot of dudes. If nothing else, there's a lot of dudes there. I've it's OTA, so I don't put anything in it, but I've heard really good things about the tackle that they drafted. They think he's going to be a pretty good player for them. They brought in one thing I like is they brought in old. He probably won't play much for us. I think he's more of a player coach, but old big dude from the New England days, Trent Brown. They brought him in because this tackle that they did draft this year, and I think it was like maybe the third round or something like that. He is literally like the same body type and it's kind of just that bigger, not really mobile tackle. So I think they brought him in to kind of like help with.
I'm out. I'm out on the Texans again.
No, no, no. That's what I said. He's not expected to even really play. The dude's hurt right
Oh.
now. I'm more of like a that's what I was saying, like a player's coach. I think they
Oh,
because
he okay, yeah, yeah.
they signed him after they drafted this tackle, and this tackle that they drafted in the 3rd
Oh, a
round,
similar body. Okay, I got you.
he's a real similar body, like a big thought of as a bigger, like, not really your mobile, move around quick type guard, but your big, just strong type guard, kinda like Trent Brown was in his heyday. So, yeah, I don't if he hits the field for us, we're in trouble.
Yeah.
They signed him for basically nothing after the draft, and so that kinda tells me, well, okay, they drafted this guy that's a real similar body type. If nothing else, maybe he's just gonna be around during camp to, make some money and help teach the rookie, and then he's a camp cut or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. Yeah, because well, I was just gonna say, like, like, I'm out in the Bay Area, so I'm, like, kind of a Raiders fan. Trent Brown
Okay.
was a major free agent signing for them, and that did not end well.
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah.
Anyways, man,
Yeah.
I think I'm gonna get out of here tonight too. It was fun. Tell the Hartman stuff. If you do not know where his channel is, you can find it right down in the description. It is just Hartman Fantasy Football, right? Or Hartman
Yeah, yeah.
FF. I got
One
the
of the
link
2.
in the description. Follow him on X. He's a good follow on X also. That is in the description as well. What do you got coming up this week? I think me, you, and Chris are doing our weekly thing on Thursday this week on your channel. Is that correct?
Yep. Yep, Thursday night, us 3 on my channel, and
You
then
got any other streams scheduled for this week?
nothing scheduled. Do a couple end of the week probably. Um, but yeah, yeah, just, that's the only scheduled one. Probably doing Friday, maybe Saturday. Yeah. But yeah, thanks for having me on. Fun time. Yeah, I think we built a pretty good team. Kind of a little bit different build than normal, and got some good talk about all the news, all the you know.
Speaking of which, real quick before I get out of here, let me go throw your name on it. I almost forgot. Try to make sure I do it the same night because then I don't have to worry about going back and remembering what one it was.
Oh,
Course,
yeah.
that one would have been easy because I don't do too many BBMs. We did one with Dirty P the other night. Dirty P was I've been doing that Sunday thing where I
Oh,
pick
right, right.
a random viewer who shows up. We did one with Green Bean 2 weeks ago, and then this Sunday we drafted a pretty good team. It ended up it was a BBM, McCarthy, Tua, and Bryce. So we did the light quarterback thing. Mixon, Pacheco, Mason, Dobbins, Rico, and Giddens was our running back room. JJ Hill, Devontae Smith, Diggs, Higgins, Thielen, and Naylor as our wide receiver room, with McBride and Jatavian Sanders at our tight end room.
And then who are the
Pretty good team
QBs
overall.
again?
JJ and Tua and
Oh,
Bryce.
oh yeah, with
That's one
Jefferson,
reason we
Hill,
took,
and Thielen,
yeah, we had
Jatavian.
Jefferson, and that's one reason we threw Naylor on there at the end for the double stack. We have
Yeah.
Sanders and Thielen paired with Bryce, and then since we had Hill, it was like, well, you know what? Like we were kind of got boxed out on some other QB stuff we were trying to do, and we just got to a point where we were like, well, you know what? Like if Tua's out for a long stretch because he had a major concussion or something again, then that probably hurts Tyreek Hill a lot anyways. So like we kind of need Tua to be healthy for Tyreek Hill to really be hitting the way we need him to for a BBM. So it just kind of makes sense that like we just double down on that bet and say, okay, Tua's going to be healthy. They're going to be more like the Dolphins 2 years ago. So now when Hill is killing it for us, maybe we can capitalize by having some nice games from Tua also.
Oh yeah, I mean, I put like I mean, I like that team. I thought it was really well balanced overall. I like the running back. Like running back was pretty deep too on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I actually like Tua a lot. Like where he goes, I think he's a huge value if he's healthy. Obviously, he carries risk, but he's like your QB 2 or 3 usually, in like the 150s. I think if you have him stacked, that's an easy pick.
Tim, if you are still around, we think alike. If you've watched my channel before, you know that Lamar is probably my plant of all flag plants this year. Not necessarily my highest owned guy because it's harder to get earlier guys, at those levels. But I have been taking them all up and down the third round. What's up, Best Ball on Call? Good to see you stopping by. We're just finishing up here tonight. Leo, good to see you stop by. Also, the Houston's defense is going to give them short fields. Short fields equal touchdowns. And they do have a nice playoff schedule. They're one of the few teams, there may be another one, but they're the only one that I know of that essentially have 3 dome games. They play 2 home games, and then they play at the Chargers, which is essentially a dome game too. So that's nice.
Yeah, I think they're the only one with all 3 dome games. The the, the Lions no, the Lions only have 2. I think the Texans are the only one. But yeah, they're like in the sprint. Like Nico,
Mhm,
I'm moving Nico up in the sprint. He's I think my highest drafted like first rounder in that. I only have like 20 though, so not big volume.
mhm. All right, my man. Well, take it easy. I'll see you Thursday when me and you and Chris are on your channel. What's up, Chris? Hope your stream went well tonight. We're just finishing up. Drafted a BBM. We're going to call it a night for tonight, though. Talk to you guys later.
But the only thing in life that has meaning are the things you gotta work for, believe me.